Hi, everybody. I continue to be with my mother, and therefore still stranded in Canada.
Not stranded.
It's not the worst outcome that I've ever had of a travel snafu, and it has definitely shown us that I will be coming here for longer periods each time. So, we have a lot to tell you about today. We're going to start with the end in mind. We're going to finish off by telling you about my just-released design, my to-be-released designs in the next week, and a long upcoming one that I think you'll be pretty excited about. Then we're going to cover what I've been knitting in reverse order again, and we're going to start off with what my mum has been working on. So, Mama Di, how's the knitting going?
Well, first of all, hello everyone. How's the knitting going? Well, I strive very hard to get things finished, and this past week I really strived to get my knitting project done. But, sometimes real life gets in the way, and therefore it's not completed, but it's almost completed.
Okay.
I'm almost down to that 5 grams, which, everyone has, of course, a weigh scale that does that. Well, you do if Ethan is your son. So here it is, folks. I'm still working on the 1 skein garter triangle, and I love it.
It's one of my patterns.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost there, and I really do love it. It's very, very soft. It's Brooklyn tweed, Piri. And the color is questionably humpback. Ethan and I have always had a little bit of a wandering and back and forth about different colors and who the people actually were who made up these names for these colors.
His name's Jared Flood.
Oh, guess I can't really say much about that. Nevertheless, it certainly does look like brown to me. It's lovely. It's soft, and it's a pleasure actually to knit with. I am very pleased. So this is
also the moment now where I interrupt to remind everyone that Piri has been discontinued for, I think, 4 years at this point. It is one of my favorite all-time yarns. I shared it with my mom because I think that we should share nice things so that people have an opportunity to use them. And
is there a substitute that comes close?
Yes. So I really think if you're looking for a similar knitting experience in a luxurious finished product, Albertine by Durerum Natura. This is knit up into one of my upcoming patterns. We'll cover that in a little bit. Albertine by Durerum Natura is a fingering weight, so it's a 4-ply construction, organic French merino and silk blend. So 90% organic French merino, 10% silk, nothing of desal. Durerum Albertine comes in a variety of color, about 22 different ones, and has a really beautiful look in the light. I wear this cardigan too much, and it is a sample, so I need to depill it. We tried to take some photos of it, and you can really visibly see it, because I've been wearing it for almost 2 years now since I finished it.
But it's great because you can see it's loved. You can see that it holds up. You can see the beauty.
It really lasts very well. It's gorgeous still over time. It's very well worn and well loved knit by me. And I would absolutely recommend as a substitute for Brooklyn Tweed Piri, Durerum's Albertine. It is a little shorter in the meterage to the 50-gram skein, everyone, just so that you're aware. But it is soft and round and a little bit bouncy and great for color work or for anything else you want to do with it.
It's beautiful. Well, and that truly is what I am working on. We're getting into the last few days that Ethan is going to be here. And to be honest with you, 80% of his time that he's here, he is knitting. What I have to remind our friends and family here in Canada is that this is actually Ethan's job. Not only does he like to do it, it is something that he does because of his chosen profession at this point.
I stumbled into profession.
Yeah.
Fell upon by accident.
Well, and speaking of accident, we were kind of always going back and forth and saying, oh, you got this from Grandma, you got this from great-grandma, whatever else. And then, as some of you might do or you may not do, I have raised a few children in my life, and each one of them I have a bin for. A few of them I have several bins for. And I
could be in the several bins category.
Correct. I actually pulled out a bin of things that belonged to Ethan when he was, from the time he was born on. So I'd love to share with you and think he may have actually gotten the sort of inkling about knitting, perhaps from me. So one of the very first sweaters that I made Ethan was this little bevy.
A little round yoke. It feels like it's wool acrylic blend. It's a bulky weight, bold for a child.
But it's very cold here when it gets cold.
It is actually very cold. This is actually probably, because of how small it is inside, relative to term like a newbornish to 12-month-old size.
And you can actually see that it weathered very well. He loved to wear it. And
I will say I have always loved wearing knitwear over anything else. I really only wear t-shirts, golf shirts, and sweaters.
Well, and you know, here we are when we have a look at it. It's weathered very well. I mean, this probably was his when he was 1 to 2 years old, and he's, 35 now. So then I dug a little farther into the thing, and I thought, I did remember this, but at one given time in Ethan's early childhood, he was very fond of dinosaurs. So I actually made this sweater for him, and the thing that, of course, he loved the most was the fact that the little scales here on the back were raised and came out of it, and down the sleeve to a certain point. He wore it quite a bit. I sadly have no idea what either one of these patterns are called.
So this is definitely an intarsia and then hand stitched around the edges. Pardon me. So this is an intarsia portion, so I don't think it was Swiss darned, or was it? No, it's intarsia. Up to 3 color intarsia at a time in a few places, so that's pretty spectacular.
He means that because of me.
Yeah, well, interestingly, you trap the intarsia floats as well, and I don't know why. I have questions.
Well, the bigger question for me is I actually have no idea when I had time to do this. Probably at about, 1 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, that's a cute little bevy there, and well worn again.
Yeah.
We had a lady on our street. Her name was Dale Hike, and she loved Ethan, and her daughter from time to time would help us out with babysitting. And I'm just going to say, out I pulled this classic.
Oh yes, this is a childhood toy that she made me. I have a number of different ones that she's made over the years.
This lady was absolutely incredible at knitting. I mean, it's old and it's been in a bin, but have a look
it was
to
also
the detail.
kind of well played with. I was quite fond of him. Yeah, I mean, there is all sorts going on here. Seaming, seamless knitting, increases, decreases, multiple different objects sewn together, applique. It's incredible. Definitely
Absolutely.
A testament to someone's knitting and artistic skill.
Yeah, she was just lovely, and she was ever so thrilled to be able to do that for Ethan, and he loved it. Maybe this guy's the guy that really set it in place for you because you loved him so.
Maybe. Who honestly knows? It was definitely something... once I started knitting, I always kept doing it, is kind of the strange part.
Mm-hmm. And then, at a certain point for Ethan, it became a comfort, right? I mean, it's something that a great deal of people find a comfort to do.
It's very relaxing.
So this piece here, I'd love to show you. I did not knit this, and actually this has gone down through 3 different children as a christening blanket. My dearest best friend, Irene, knit this and used a very good quality wool at the time, and I'm not certain if you can really get a glimpse of how beautiful that is.
So it's a textured knitted stitch center with multiple different crocheted, very densely and tightly and beautifully crocheted border with 3 to 4 different stitches all worked into it with a scalloped edge. It's quite a bit of work. It's definitely in a light fingering weight, like a 3-ply, a traditional baby blanket weight, and it would not have been a fast knit, that's for sure.
Well, and it's stood up the test of time. This blanket is,
and it's always
45 years old, and just once again, the time that you put into a beautiful piece never surpasses time.
No,
and
absolutely.
This is a beautiful piece of work, and it just reminds me that it's great to be able to do these things, to have them, to pass down, to make someone feel warm and good. So, all things come wonderful when you put your love and your care into it. So that's the blanket.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to take a very short break, and we will be right back to tell you a little bit about what I've been knitting. Thank you for sharing all of those knits, Mum. Those are really beautiful and old cherished items that we are super glad that you have preserved, because I have a tendency to throw everything out once a year. And it's a real thing that I do. I thought this was a very normal thing. I get it from my mother. She does pretty much the same thing. It turns out that's a specifically us thing. So we're going to be right back. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm knitting, and then we'll round it out with what patterns are coming up.
Welcome back. So this last week, Ethan set out on yet another jumper, and want to be able to show you what he's accomplished. Amazingly to me, and I'm sure to you as well, Ethan actually knit this sweater in 7 days.
Oh, 8. Sorry, guys. 8 days.
Okay, 8 days. All right, 7, 8. This would have taken me maybe 8 months, and that's a big stretch. And I also know that it would also take some of us that length of time to create something like this. The thing is that when you see this and you look at it, you go, it's worth it. It's worth the time that you put in. So let me show you what he has accomplished in these 8 days. You can see that it is completely knit, and he just really has to tidy up the end pieces and things like that. He was knitting that right up until this morning, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's soft, it's colorful, it's beautiful, and I actually have no idea what the pattern is called or what the wool is, so I'll let him take it away.
Thanks, Mum. So I originally, if you've been following along for a little bit, you may remember that I have made an Elton cardigan. Over the last while, my body has really changed, and I've been looking to recreate a production Lacoste cardigan that I had for a very long time, until I literally wore it until I couldn't attach it anymore. And that's actually the last piece of production knitwear I ever bought. I know that for a fact, and I have basically now decided to recreate it. And I had brought only some yarn with me, and I had brought the yarn that I had bought to make myself a second Elton, and it knits to the same gauge as fingering weight, so I did stripe this just like an Elton. I might not use this as the primary pattern photo, to be clear. If you like the look of this and you want to knit seamlessly, please note before I go any further, there is a really great series of patterns by Joji Locatelli called the Eltons. There is a pullover, a cardigan, a long line cardigan, a summer v-neck, and I'm sure by this point next year there'll be another beautiful addition to her range there. So if you're looking for something like that, which is not this yet, please go and check that out. I really like that stripe sequence, and I think it's a clever way to break up knitting because it makes it really fun, and it's also easy to count so you can match your pieces. And as a designer, I'm going to tell you, it makes it really easy to reverse engineer what you've done. So you're probably going to see a lot more striped and textured pieces coming from me in the next little while, because it's actually easier to knit them quickly, and then you can count everything afterwards faster. So,
and they line up so well, right? So when you're doing it, I'm always intrigued on how you set these things up. It really is so beautiful. The other thing is, I like the fact that it's not a thick band.
Yes. So the cardigan that I'm trying to recreate and Elton both share a couple of common features. Narrow bands at the wrists and hem. Slightly tapered sleeves. I tapered this sleeve because I actually have quite a tapered arm. I have very tiny little wrists, and this fits with about 1 inch of ease throughout the entire sleeve, and I'm really happy with how this has come out. It needs to be blocked still. Just as a side note, this is unblocked. The body is blocked because I picked up and knit the sleeves downward, and then I seamed the side seams, and the neck is made with 2 double knit button bands and then a picked up collar. And you can see that it already has quite a bit of structural support just from those bands and collar. This is a knit flat and fully seamed pattern. It is going to feature these narrow double knit bands, which is part of what I loved about the original cardigan. I've actually spaced it so that the buttons on mine fall on the middle of solid bands every single time. It's just something I was able to work out as I went. And up here, the neckline button band is actually spaced at the exact point it would occur in the total repeat. So that is something that you may want to think about with measurements and math when you get there, but that's because cardigans all end up being an individual length. Telling people to make specific button bands and specific picked up ratios doesn't lead to success for everybody, because our row gauge, no matter how hard we try, is always slightly out. So saying to someone, you'll be able to pick up using this ratio exactly X number of stitches, it's not really helpful, and it's not accurate, and it also limits how easily people can modify something as they go. So this is a pattern that will be coming out. I'm going to knit a second one in a denser wool. So as I said, it features double knit button bands, which are something I like to put on everything. And I think I wanted to show people that even in a fabric that is so light like this one, you really do get a huge amount of structural value without it causing this to droop or hang out of place or do any strange things from the weight of the button bands. I will say as well, for a cardigan like this, you want to aim for a very thin glass, very thin plastic as my last resort, or very thin shell button. You do not want to add weight, and nothing larger than 10 millimeters, preferably something when we're working with a double knit button band that has a shank to it. All of this will give you a great finish with something like this. I would advise against metal buttons or anything large or highly ornamental, like a Swarovski crystal button or something like that. It's just going to drag the weight of this lightweight fabric down. And you might be thinking to yourself, lightweight fabric? How lightweight? Well, here's something I prepared earlier. So this is it's named the High Street Cardigan at the moment. It might get a different name. This is also a fingering weight cardigan with double knit button bands. It has about 100 meters more of yarn in it than this particular pullover does. They're both made out of fingering weight. This one is made out of fingering weight and silk mohair and stripes. I'm just going to get my mom to feel the weight difference between it and kind of describe it to you guys.
Well, this one, of course, is much heavier.
Yes,
I mean,
it is a much denser wool.
Correct. And I was just going to say, you can see that it is a denser wool, so much heavier. But you know, the thing about this particular cardigan, too, I think, is that if you're going out in the evening sometime and you want something just, slightly to put on yourself because you might get a bit of a chill, this would be the deal, I think, for sure. And it's beautiful. It's elegant. The other thing I was always just a little apprehensive of doing these particular type of bands. So what I want you to know is I've learned with Ethan being here, they're not as complicated as I really had thought that they would be. And they finish beautifully on the inside. Yeah. So I think likely that that's what I'm going to actually move forward and do. Yeah. I was always worried about the sizing or how the fold would go or how the catch up, as I call it, on the inside would go. But you know what? Beautiful.
Double knit button bands are definitely the way to go. And if you're looking to put them in, you essentially need one stitch more in each band than the number of stitches missing from the cardigan, is a good way to think about it. So if there's 7 stitches missing from the front, you need 8 stitches facing on each band, which means in total you need 18 stitches, 9 stitches to each section. It's how all of the kind of confusing math works out. I used Yarn Floozy Sage as the solid band, which is a single ply construction yarn that I believe is 70% merino and 30% silk. It's a really beautiful yarn to work with. It is a little tricky sometimes with the finishing just because it doesn't enjoy being twisted around aggressively, but it is certainly worth the effort because once blocked, the way that it comes out creates this lightweight, beautiful fabric. The other yarn that I used is the Silk Mohair from Yarn Floozy, and both colors are the pink grapefruit colorway from her. I've always really loved this color, and I did buy this to make an Elton, and the Elton just no longer fit, so instead I've come up with this new cardigan. As yet unnamed, I have a couple of ideas, but
I have an idea.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'm just...
Oh, okay. As yet unnamed, but this one will be coming
Diane's
out to you.
Diane's a lovely name. That's just sad.
Diana is a lovely name. This one will be coming out to you sooner rather than later. I'm going to be reknitting this in a solid color, and I will be putting up the journey of that coming up. I believe, off the top of my head, I might be using some Cumbria fingering, but I have yet to decide fully, because I do have this tendency lately of knitting everything in dark blue.
Seems to be that way.
It is indeed. I am also working my way through the first of 2 sleeves for the 2x1 rib cardigan that I will have coming out to all of you. For a while, one of the things I was doing was naming all of the patterns after different streets in Christchurch. A bit of a problem has ensued because some of the streets no longer exist. And several of them now I'm going to work on letting this go, but I'm quite bitter about because they now terminate in a way that has added time to my commute. And I'm working on moving through this as a person, and that will involve getting back on a bicycle and just moving on about the rain.
Is that why they have numbers? That's why you started the numbers.
The numbers?
I can't be the only person thinking about that.
Okay. So the numbers are because in the Ravelry system, you're not supposed to use descriptive words like raglan, etc., in the title. And I wanted to make a series of basic toile pullovers that you could try on, but you're not supposed to. It really doesn't work well with the search engine if you don't. Numbers are much more searchable because they directly reference what it says in the thing. So there is another person who does this, My Favorite Things Knitwear. I am stopping at 3, to be clear. It was only to introduce the 3 basic sweater shapes that exist, because essentially everything else is some variant of these 3 shapes. Yes, there are other sweater shapes that exist. Please don't at me. And yet you can sew the sides of a poncho shut and call that a sweater. Do you? Be free.
They're making a comeback.
You know what? Honestly, to quote my sister Morgan, everybody loves a poncho.
Everybody loves a poncho.
Everybody loves a poncho. So, but that's why the numbers. And also because what I'm trying to move towards over time is more collections, less just individual patterns.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So that's what we're kind of trying to build towards, is individual releases that add up to a total collection. And I think that'll help people make more fun out of the making as well. So we're going to get there. Sometimes it just takes a little time. As I've said before, it took Meatloaf 13 minutes to tell us the story in Dashboard Lights, right?
True.
It might take me a while to make a sweater worth knitting.
No, it doesn't.
Well, you never know. So,
ooh, guess what?
Butterfly was back.
The butterfly is back. Just so that you know, here in lovely downtown Keene, Ontario, Canada, it is yet another buffering 30 degrees. That's hot. That is hot. Here we also suffer from humidity. So today he loves it all. But today we have a gentle breeze, and we don't have any wildfires that are plaguing us with horrific smoke. So it's quite lovely to be out here and knit, which is where Ethan's favorite spot is to sit up until about 8 o'clock at night before the bugs come out.
Mostly the spiders.
Yeah, we have spiders, and some of them are quite large. And he does not like them.
I don't.
He does not.
Nothing more than 4 legs. I honestly have mixed feelings about butterflies. Great to look at. Please don't land on me.
There you go.
Not kidding. With all of that, I'm going to run and grab a couple of things to show you for some upcoming patterns, a pattern I've just released, and to talk through some things that are going to be coming a little bit farther afield. All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the flock north. I've actually renamed this portion just because he's very north in the world.
Very north compared to where I have habitually been.
Ta-da.
So, we are moving ahead with my pattern designs. I've been talking a little bit about some positive changes that have been going on for me. And one of those big ones is having the time to spend on this podcast to catch up on my, shall we say, owed time off. I think that's a polite way of saying it.
That's a very good way of saying it.
And
can't call it a vacation.
No.
No.
I worked the whole time, but not in a negative way. And I will be doing more pattern development and design now that we've built to a place where I can do that, which is great. So, I have been releasing my 12 patterns. I released the first one back in March, I believe, or April, with the intent of rolling out the next 2 immediately. And I have made 3 12 number 2s, and I'm almost through a second 12 number 3, as a matter of fact, and I haven't released the patterns to any of you. So the good news is, let's start with the one that's out, and then we'll move on.
Everybody kind of remembers this, I'm sure, from the last podcast.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping it would disappear into my bedroom in the drawer, and it might still.
So this little raglan number in Arwetta, in Deep Olive, and Silk Mohair, and number 58 from our good friends at Issayer, is 12 number 2. This is the raglan. So in the previous segment, my mom mentioned why the numbers, because you can't put the shape of the garment into the name. It doesn't search up really well. So this guy is designed to be knit at anything that comes to a 20-stitch gauge. And I want to say thank you to Guy and Morag, who helped me test this and find a couple of numerical errors in the pattern. If there are still a couple of little hiccups here and there, please do not hesitate to reach out via email to getflockknitting@gmail.com and let them know what's going on with that. And I may or may not review the email. No, I'm kidding. I will get to it when I have some time once I'm back. So this little beauty I really enjoyed making. It is knit entirely flat and seamed. If you're looking, there are lots of great seamless raglans that are out there, but these seamed ones really do offer something special in the way that they fit, in the way that they feel on our bodies. And I really love making them in this combination of silk mohair and fingering weight yarn, because it makes the whole garment about 25% to 35% lighter than if you were to knit it in just DK weight yarn by itself, which I really, really love about it. So
I'm going to take this pattern on. Ethan brought me the wool. I mentioned that last week. And after watching him go through it and even having a look at how beautifully, and I'm not certain that you can really see that, but how beautifully it finishes up, and or even how beautifully the blend of the wools look, I feel fairly confident that I can get through this. And if not, I have a direct line, which you guys all don't have. But you know what I was going to say?
You can have a direct line through the Flock Online if you're looking for specific help.
You know, even me, as his mother, I do subscribe to that. And let me tell you that it is helpful. I have in the past tried YouTube a little bit. And it can help a little bit, but honestly,
I do have a technique library with
the technique library
over 250 knitting technique videos already in it. On top of that, I do release knitting lifestyle content on a regular basis, so things that are more than just knitting to enrich what you're doing. You do get access to all of my patterns over time for free through that service as well. And those are available at all times, not just when you enter or exit the subscription. Plus, there are additional discounts and other things that come with it for shopping with us at Get Flocked. So I have been working through these. This is 12 number 2. It is live on Ravelry right now. Coming to you this week is going to be the final pattern in the 12 series that I'm working on a second one right now, but this one is in Rerum Natura Robinson, and it is a lovely blend of organic French Merino des Alpes and cotton with a little bit of other recycled fiber in it. This one is dyed with indigo, and all of the colors of Robinson are really fetching and have this marl effect where some of the wool and some of the cotton are both left white and blended back in to create the beautiful heathered color of it. It looks like well-worn jeans, or just that perfect sweater that you used to see in the 80s that everyone kind of had around the cottage. It's just one of those things that used to be around all the time that just disappeared. And it turns out because people were hand knitting them, I think. Well,
you know, Ethan, the other thing I really enjoy about this as well is that it has a bit of cotton in it. And that,
which is not something I usually enjoy, but this one is quite beautiful with that little bit of cotton. It's a DK weight yarn, and it is semi-woolen spun. The cotton does add something really lovely to the total weight and feel of it, and it gives a beautiful visual texture to the overall garment.
Really great, right?
Yes. In this particular case as well, I have knit this with a French seam shoulder, so it comes up and over. So the shoulder seam actually sits along the back of your shoulder blade, not along the top of your shoulder here. Features lovely neckline shaping, and also it does come with a standard shoulder version, so you get 2 shoulder options in this pattern. and I really love it. I loved making it. I love wearing it. It definitely gets thrashed, and the Robinson has worn incredibly well. I'm really happy with the quality of it, and we will be stocking that at Get Flocked soon. But if you're not based in New Zealand and you are looking for that yarn, I do know if you were based in Canada and watching this, and you wanted to cast on your own knit flat set in sleeve 12 number 3 pullover that's coming out to you next week, you can definitely source that yarn from many different places, like the Knitting Loft down in Toronto, or from Needles in the Hay in Peterborough, Ontario. I will also now do something, so this is coming out next week. That one's out right now. And now I'm going to do something slightly mean.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Which is show you something that you can't have for a very long time. But I'm really happy with how it's come out, and I'm dying to talk a little bit about it. So I have another knit flat, I would say quite strongly menswear, but unisex pattern coming out later this year. This is the Ties That Bind pullover. It is a cabled pullover, and it will be coming out later this year. It's a drop shoulder construction, a traditional drop shoulder construction. The fit on it, on me, is really, really beautiful. It has heavy, heavy shoulder shaping, utilizing short rows, obviously, or maybe not obviously, but utilizing short rows across the cables. And the cables do line up visually relatively well at the shoulder, I think, across all the sizes. If you want to prioritize fit, unfortunately, there's only so many manipulations that you can do to a cable before it starts to distort the way that the garment looks. But I really love how this wears. I'm really, really thrilled with it. You're going to love the yarn that it's knit, and I can't wait to introduce it to you later this year. And I'm super, super thrilled with how the garments come out. And this is one of my upcoming patterns that won't be out until later this year. Ties That Bind, more details about it to be announced closer to its release date. It does feature a 2x2 circular neckline and some really beautiful tubular cast-ons and bind-offs, and a cable that is quite familiar to a lot of knitters. I didn't come up with it, but I do love how it plays out. And yes, I would be lying if I didn't admit that I wasn't influenced by people like Ralph Lauren and Halston when it comes to this sort of a knit. This sort of repeating cable thing is definitely a huge feature of American fashion design over the years, and has been the foundation of those brands' kind of aesthetic for a long time. And it's a nod to them, but taking a more refined approach to the neckline shaping and other things like that. So
a test to time, right? It is.
Yeah, it's really going to stand a test of time, this one. It's a classic. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
It's beautiful. I was so happy that you chose to be able to tell everybody about it while you were here, because I have watched him knit this and go through this and make the pattern as he goes along. Even to the detail of the under part of the arm is just beautiful. So I've been very happy to be a person who's been able to sit and watch him knit this through. And again, yes, he is my son. Yes, he's very talented.
Thanks.
On the other part of it is, though, he is really a machine. There's just nothing that he can't really accomplish when he wants to get that done, which is almost everything that he has ever done. So thank you for sharing that here with us and your entire family, because
I'm thrilled to share
we're happy.
Thank you. The last thing to tell you guys is this high street cardigan, once I get a deep hilled and some photos that I love of it shot up once I'm back in New Zealand, will be coming out to you guys as well. So this guy's knit in a fingering weight yarn. It's made for any fingering weight yarn. If you've knit my high street pullover before, it has the exact same fit, just in a cardigan version instead. And there is something, I think, from the table all over this.
Probably.
Oh boy. Okay.
Or the dogs.
Anyway, that is all of my upcoming design stuff for the next little bit. There will be more items in the Ties That Bind series. Just as a side note, there will also be a hat, a set of mitts, a scarf, and socks. Just in case you want to Ties That Bind yourself head to toe. I think you'll want to. And if you don't...
Why not?
Well, please buy all the patterns anyway.
Why not?
Yeah, you want to.
Yes.
You want to do it. It would be insane not to be interested in
You might even need to.
Things. Yeah, you need.
Yeah.
So, with all of that in mind, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe and like this podcast. If you have enjoyed watching this today, please think about joining us on one of the other things that we do, like the Flock Online or on Get Flock. And please do tell other people about it. Or, much easier, take their devices and forcibly subscribe them to this podcast. They'll love it, even if they don't knit. Sometimes, especially if they don't knit.
Well, we are kind of like an interesting pair. So
we're working on it.
We're gonna keep going.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.